Well, I'm not sure what I did on the last problem. I must have inputted something wrong in our calculator, but here we have the correct graph here. So if I'm looking for calculator zeros, the first thing I want to do is open up the table. So I'm looking where the y values are 0. I've got one here at 6. Now, if you look at the graph, look at the table here, notice we're positives, we're changing to negatives, but we don't have any other zeros. So that's telling us that they're not at whole numbers. So our only calculator 0 is here at 6. So what we need to do now is we need to find the other values. So what we're going to have to do is use synthetic division to divide out that 6 as a factor. So we set up our synthetic division. We know it's a factor, so we know the remainder is going to be 0. 6 times 2 is 12. Bring that over here. Add down to get 0. 6 times 0 is 0. Add down to get negative 34. 6 times negative 34 is negative 204, which means our remainder is 0. That's what we'd expect. So we take what was left and figure out what that is. So that's 2x squared plus 0x minus 34. So if we set that equal to 0, we can solve for x squared. So we will add the 34, divide by 2, take the square root, and get x's plus or minus root 17. So our zeros are going to be at 6, positive root 17, and negative root 17. So when we look at how many zeros we're supposed to have 3, and that matches up because that is how many zeros we have. So let's try another one. We've got 8x cubed minus 27. 8x to the third minus 27, and we graph it. So it looks like we're only crossing the x-axis once, and I can already see that it's in between 2 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw another line at y equals 0 that represents the x-axis. So you can actually then find that intersection by pressing second trace. 5 will find the intersection. So it asks what's your first curve, that's your original function, you hit enter. It asks what's your second curve, that's your line here that you made at the x-axis. You hit enter, it wants a guess. So go ahead and slide it over if you want to. There it's telling us our intersection is at 1.5. So number of zeros, based on our highest power, we should have 3 zeros. Our calculator 0 is at 1.5. So that means we're going to have to do synthetic division again to find our other points. So we take our 0 we know is a factor. We set up our equation, 8x cubed, 0x squared, 0x, and then minus 27. So we bring down the 8. 1.5 times 8 is 12. Add down. 0 plus 12 is 12. 1.5 times 12 is 18. 0 plus 18 is 18. 1.5 times 18 is 27. Add to get 0. That's what we wanted. So this leaves us with the function 8x squared plus 12x plus 18. Now, since these don't appear at all on our graph, we should know that they're going to become, they're going to give us imaginary solutions. So our best bet here would be to use the quadratic formula. So we'll set it up, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared, which is 144, minus 4a, which is 8, c, which is 18, all over 2a, which is 16. So we'll get negative 12 plus or minus square root of 144 minus, let's see, 4 times 8 is 32, 32 and 18, I don't know, let's check it out. 32 times 18, 576. Let's go ahead and do our subtraction while we're here. 144 minus 576, negative 432. So that's what's going to go under our root here is negative 432. Again, that's getting the imaginary we're expecting, divided by 16. Let's see, this is going to simplify a little bit. I don't know to what. All right, 432. Let's see, we're looking for perfect squares. Let's see, does 36 go into it? It does. It makes 12. So that means we can pull a 6 outside. 12 has a perfect square inside of 2, so that means we can pull, sorry, it's got a perfect square 4 inside, which means we can pull out a 2. So all in all, we should be able to pull out an 8. So that means 64 should go in to 432. Or not. Let's see. We pull out 6. Ah, we pulled out 12. Sorry. This is why I should do things ahead of time. Hey. 4. There we go. That's what it is. So that means we can pull out a 12. So a plus or minus 12 root 3 over 16. These are each divisible by 4. So if we divide each of these by 4, we'll get negative 3 plus or minus 3 root 3. Ooh, I forgot my I. There's an I here. Divided by 4. So those are our other two solutions. Again, we needed 3. We've got the calculator 0 at 1.5. And then our imaginary solutions, negative 3 plus or minus 3i root 3 over 4. All right, let's try some more practice. So the number of zeros we're going to have is 4. 4 zeros, that's the highest power. Let's plug it into our calculator, see what we get. So we have x to the 4th minus 13x cubed plus 55x squared minus 91x. So I can see already, just looking at the equation, you can factor out an x. It's a common term, so that means we're going to have a 0 at 0. So let's see if it happens. Yep, there it is. We've got a 0 at 0. And then I saw one more. Looks like it's there at 7. So our calculator zeros are at 0 and 7. So easy thing I'm going to do right away is factor out that x to be left with the x cubed minus 13x squared plus 55x minus 91. That gets rid of the 0 from the calculator zeros. So now we'll just take this inside piece and do synthetic division with the 7. So we bring down the 1, multiply to get 7, add to get 6, multiply to get, negative 6. Multiply to get negative 42, add to get 13, multiply to get positive 91. There's our 0. So this function is now x squared minus 6x plus 13. So if we want to find where this is 0, again, we don't see these in our picture at all, so we know they're going to have imaginary solutions. Let's go ahead and use quadratic formula again. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac. I went ahead and did it for you. It's negative 16 all over 2. So that square root of negative 16 will simplify to 4i. And then those will simplify, divide each of those by 2, 3 plus or minus 2i. So our zeros are at 0, 7, 3 plus 2i, and 3 minus 2i. So as we said, there should be 4 zeros, and there they are. We made sure we got all of them. All right, number of zeros. We're going to have 4 zeros. That's the highest power. Let's go ahead and punch this into our calculator, see what we get. We have x to the 4th minus 8x cubed plus 20x squared minus 32x plus 64. So come back for the next video and see what happens when we graph it.